Here are 5 ideas that will change the way you see your time on Earth and how to truly unleash your creative potential. Here we go. Number 1, not because you feel that your work drives out your life force energy and people have told you that this is the way to live, means it's a natural law of the universe. Work in itself doesn't have to feel draining. Work is not a source of low energy. Here the issue is that we've been conditioned to believe that within the 40-hour work weeks that we have, the 9 to 5 schedules that we have, those moments have to be draining and soulless, confined into a place of stuffy, bland human interactions, office gossiping, no creativity, automation, bureaucracy. We've been told that work should be this way. But we're waking up to the fact that work is not something isolated from who we are, but rather is something that must complement who we are in reality. We cannot live this fragmented life that work and life are separated. They have to be holistically connected. And so the number one idea that you have to take from this book, that you will take from this book, is that your work should speak to your soul. Your work should be a source of energy. Your work should transfer that energy to others as well as to yourself. It should drive you to become the best version of yourself, your most creative version of yourself, your most sincere version of yourself. Work shouldn't be an excuse to refuse our gifts and not lean into who we truly are. Work should be the main venue, the main avenue for us to lean into what makes us us. Here's a quote from my book, The Time Is Now, A Guide to Honor Your Time on Earth, that I took from Alan Watts. People are looking for ways of living whereby they don't live this fragmented, abstract work life that is completely cut off from all the rest of their truly human associations. And so we are facing a very big revolution in which our young people want to return to reality. And even though what they do may make very little money, it will at least have the satisfaction of being an actual relationship to the real world in which we live now. I don't know the detailed answers to all that, but this is what is coming. It will be very disruptive to things as we know them, but better by far. Better by far to live in contact with the actual here and now than to live a life of perpetual suspense, waiting for a gorgeous thing that's going to turn up, but never, ever does. And that brings me to the idea number 2 from the book, is that if you continue to live a life based on the deferred life plan, you will never truly honor your time on Earth. If you are in this notion that you should be working for 40 years, save up for retirement, and then when you're 60, 65, you finally get to a point in life where you can explore your creative potential, take the time for yourself, take the time to enjoy your family, take the time to enjoy what makes you you and discover what makes you you, you're living a completely false life. The deferred life plan is essentially that one where you're sacrificing the present moment to accumulate, whether that is reputational success, whether that is economical success, whether that is stability, to then get to a future where you can enjoy what you wanted to enjoy in the present moment. So, for example, if your passion was always to build a project that relates to, let's say, space and science, but you never wanted to take that risk because it wasn't financially sane of an idea, you put that on pause and you save enough money for an X period of time for then to later explore that when you're older. But let us remember that as time passes by, time has a toll on us too. When we're 60, our minds are more rigid. our souls are less vibrant, our knees give out, our ideas on how to enjoy life change. That's not bad when you're 60 probably, but if you think that when you're 20, 25, you'll get to the same peace of mind and that mindset when you're 60, you're wrong. All of those ideas, all of those possibilities that you wanted to explore will cease to exist, and you will maybe just reminiscing onto the what if scenario. You will ask, what if I would have done this? What if I would have not saved that money? Instead, I would have invested in my education or exploring that entrepreneurial route. And so the number one thing you should know is that living for the future that probably will never ever come as you imagined is a lie. You should focus on living today, not necessarily, this is where people get confused a lot. You don't need to stop doing the good things you're doing now to improve your future. In itself, if you're working on a better present for yourself, the future will take care of itself. You might not know the plan, you might not know the play-by-play breakdown on how it will unfold, but as long as your heart is in the right place, that deferred plan is just a strategy motivated by anxiety, motivated by making sure everything fits into its place. And then a lot of people realize when all of the boxes have been checked, that everything was fitting in its right place, they feel off. They feel like it never really fits, even though on paper it does. So again, live for today, and that in itself will take care of tomorrow. And here's the second quote I want to share with you. If you do not trust life to unfold, the mind takes over and it becomes a game of strategy, motivated by anxiety. This mistrust is unfair. Life has given us so much, and yet we don't trust it. This quote was by Muji. The third idea that you will take from the book is that life is all about trust. Life is all about following your intuition. Life is all about understanding that when you fall into the void of uncertainty, of taking that leap of faith, when you fall into that place of living for the now, for what makes you tick today, for what gives your heart's energy today, you are 100% certain that the universe will conspire in favor of you. That someone, something bigger than you will have your back. And that is life. Life in itself will unfold the way it should once you align to what you truly want life to become. Not about trying to live a life based on rigid principles, on how others live their lives, on the recipe of others, on the linear path others carved. That in itself is a game of strategy. That in itself robs you from your own potential, from your own way of honoring your time on earth. Look, this is cliche, but we're gonna be here for hopefully 100 years, 85 years. Wouldn't you rather live a life based on detours, based on possibilities, based on potential, based on how life wants you to live your life, rather than you always grinding it out in a way that feels effortful, but not in a way that fills your soul, but rather it just feels like you're going against the wind. You're just plowing and plowing and plowing like crazy. Do you want to live a life like that? I'm not saying hard work is bad. I'm not saying you shouldn't pursue your dreams with all of your effort obsessively. That in itself is a great cause. What I am saying is that you shouldn't put a pause on that obsession you really want to pursue. You shouldn't play a game of strategy with life. You should let life guide you, but always by putting your right foot first, always setting the intention that this is what you want from life. This is what you want from life. And with your actions, with your words, with your principles, with your values, you signal to life that I'm here and I trust you. Let life unfold. This is so important in today's reality, especially where everything feels uncertain. the outer world feels uncertain, when we go within and we explore how we can honor our time on earth, things change, life changes, who we are changes, and aligns with what we need to do in this reality. Every single one of us has a unique calling, and by butchering it just because we needed to get that promotion, get that applause, play status games, it's even a moral duty to become who you need to become. The world needs more genuine people. The world needs more people who follow their hearts and who trust life to unfold. Here's the fourth quote. In 1912, Jung published a book in which he said in strong language, "The spirit of evil is the negation of the life force by fear. Only boldness can deliver us from fear. If the risk is not taken, the meaning of life is violated." I've said to people, if you type that up and put it on your bathroom mirror and you look at it every day, you're going to become a little more mindful of the role that fear, typically through avoidance, is running your life. Don't judge that fear. Recognize that you also, as a conscious being, have an agenda to expand your life in the face of that fear. James Hollis. I put this quote twice in the book. I put this quote in the chapter Slay the Serpent and also in part 3, Action of the book. It's because it's one of the quotes that has changed my life the most. Of course, I first put it by Jung and then I put James Hollis' interpretation of it. Fear plays such a big role in our lives. The fear of stepping up to the plate, the fear of unleashing our potential, the fear of not realizing our potential, the fear of failure, the fear of what they will say about us. And rather than offering a solution that says, avoid that fear, deal with it later, James Hollis and of course Carl Jung say, embrace that fear. Do what you need to do in life with fear on your side, with fear as your ally. It's one of those emotions that really we can all feel very, very sensibly. That fear, that flight or flight mechanism that activates when we want to take a leap of faith, when we dare to make risks in life, be courageous, have integrity with our souls. And we typically avoid what we need to do in life, and that fear is always creeping up on us in every single decision we make, in every action we take, either in work, either in our personal lives, with our friends, in our relationships. When we don't lean into that fear, when we don't do the things we need to do in spite of that fear, then life becomes a song that will never be sang. It will only be whispered. And we need energy in this reality. We need positivity in this reality. We need to understand that that fear is perhaps imaginary. And even though we feel it, in itself is a great indicator that we should lean into that which we fear. For me, that fear usually runs through not taking a leap of faith. And I didn't do that for a good amount of time in my life. But then I leaned into that fear. I understood that I had to do things in my life with fear along the way. And so I took a leap of faith. And things turned out to be great at the other side of the void. Because that fear paralyzes us from action, and we need action to really change our lives. And that fear might stay with you for the first moments that you start to embrace it. But then afterwards, you might feel excitement. You might feel like this is a good thing that I'm feeling, that I'm on the edge of what I'm capable of, and I'm still leaning into that, even with my fear. So make your fear your ally. Why don't you observe what that fear does to you and turn it into love? My last quote from my book, and which brings me to point 5, is the following. It is so, my dear Lucilius. There are a few men whom slavery holds fast, but there are many more who hold fast to slavery. Letter 22 by Seneca. You should read this book. Wow. A lot of times we live life through golden handcuffs, through a corporate job, through a stable reality. We often blame the job in itself for taking away our potential, taking away our creativity. We blame it on others that, because of my circumstances, I can't really lean into who I am. Think about the quote that I just said. Most of the time, people embrace and hold tight to what makes them feel enslaved rather than letting go. And if you think about it that way, that means it's on your power. It's on you to decide to let go. If that thing that you're doing now is not aligned with who you are. Usually we think that our circumstances have much more control on us than we have on them. And when you find out, you realize finally that that is not the case, that you have a powerful, powerful sense of agency in life. That you are able to create and build things from the scratch, that you are able to see the world and decide that you will paint your canvas with it, that you will draw your colors with it, that you're able and enabled and encouraged and morally encouraged to do so. You are no longer enslaved by any idea, any concept, any person, any company. You're your own person. And that way, my friends, is how we honor our time on earth. The time is now to honor your time on earth. If you like these ideas, if they resonated with you at least one, go ahead, give this book a chance. I wrote it, it replenished my life energy. Sometimes it's tough love when I write about it, but it's inspirational. It encourages you to really look at yourself, look into the mirror and say, I will honor my time on earth. My own way, not the way others want me to. With that, my friends, thank you for watching. Such a special episode. I love doing this. I'm riffing, I'm expressing my ideas here. Let me know what you think in the comments, and let me know what you think about the book itself. I can't wait to hear your thoughts, and I'll see you next time. Take care.